Well, at an ICE protest in Chicago, a car drove through a crowd of people earlier this evening. The team at CBS News Chicago has the very latest.
Well, if you're just joining us, here is that video of the car blasting through the demonstrators and almost hitting a handful of them there, and then another one who was lucky to get out of the way, and then you'll see again a police officer here at the end tapping it, but the car was able to blast through. I think as we've watched this, the crowd has just gotten so large that it's become almost unmanageable for CPD, because in the early part of this demonstration, I would say around 3 or 4, part of this group passed right through our street side studio here at Dearborn and Washington, right at Daley Plaza. And the group was only about a half a block long, and the police were able to set up their bikes and direct this group the way they wanted them to go. But I think it got to a point where there were so many of them, there just was no way CPD could get either ahead of or on all sides of this.
That's true. Sabrina, I know we're coming back to you. Have you seen CPD sticking with the crowd in that consistent fashion, or have things really sort of spread out from your perspective?
It does seem like things have started to spread, especially after we made that loop in Grant Park and now are making our way pretty much back to where this protest began, closer to State Street, Federal Plaza. This group is more so trailing the front that you mentioned, where Chicago police are with their bicycles. People chanting, very peaceful from this portion, and I guess because of just the sheer width of State Street, there is plenty of space for people to spread out, so it does not feel as condensed as it felt when we were in Federal Plaza, when we were standing and there were cars that were nearby. There are some cars right here that are stuck. As you mentioned, that this is causing many traffic issues, traffic concerns. Some people sticking out their heads from the windows and supporting these protests. Others seemingly just don't really know what to do because they're stuck in the middle of a massive crowd on their way home, presumably from work here. So if you forgive me for looking back just to make sure we don't hit anything, these protesters are now weaving their way through these cars, in addition to weaving their way through the streets and around the loop to continue their protest. And I don't suspect, Marie, that this crowd won't feel in any way that it'll be completely as, widely spread as it was just a few moments ago, because as we've been following them, it's almost as if it's an accordion effect where people have really just consolidated and then spread out as this trail of people continues to make their way around.
Our partners there at CBS News Chicago on the ground in downtown Chicago at the scene of yet another ICE protest, and we're going to continue to monitor all of these protests that are going on across the country, beginning in Los Angeles and spreading to places like Chicago and other cities.